Welcome in the Senior Director of Public Relations for the White Sox, Sheena Quinn. We're good. We're excited to have you on and chatting. The first thing that I think most people are wondering is, was the White Sox intention for SoxFest when they brought it back always to buck the conventional convention idea and go to something live like this? Or is this something that developed after, throwing out the idea or, considering the traditional convention idea?
Sure. We've missed SoxFest on the calendar, certainly, as much as everybody else. We haven't had it since 2020. So when we were talking about bringing it back, we felt like we had to do it differently, right? We wanted to think about ways that felt like we were really rooted at home, but also doing it in a different way that brought a new kind of experience to the fans. And doing it right here in Ramova, a couple blocks from the ballpark, felt like a really fun way to do it. Tyler and the whole crew at Ramova, they're incredible people to work with. It feels like the right way to bring it back, bring SoxFest back to the fans.
Sheena, I think people are curious about what this new format is going to look like. People are used to, the multiple floors of the Hilton or the big room that you guys had at McCormick Place. This seems like it's going to be a little smaller, a little more intimate. What are the two nights going to look like for people who show up?
Sure. If you haven't been to Ramova Theater, it's a beautiful historic theater. I think we're really excited about the fact that we're hosting it in a historic theater setting. It's going to feel much different than where we were in years past. SoxFests of the past certainly were about autographs, about the masses coming through and really meeting people. This year is going to be about exclusive conversations with our fans and really meaningful connections with everybody that's in attendance. You can expect live music, live performances, and of course, conversations with our baseball leadership, members of the clubhouse, our new coaching staff. It's going to be a great way to see and hear from the people that you want to hear from most in the 2025 season.
So Sheena, kind of speaking of that sort of thing, the interaction between fans and players, whether it's current players or former players, how's that going to work with, a fan who maybe does want a chance to get an autograph, take a picture with somebody, something like that?
Sure, there's still going to be opportunities for meet and greets. We definitely have not lost that feeling with the new SoxFest Live concept. We're expanding out. The people at Ramova Theater are just so wonderful to us. They're allowing us to move a little bit into the beer garden and actually put a tent up, a heated tent up, and we're going to make those spaces all about the meet and greets for fans. So you'll still have an opportunity to meet the players and the Sox greats that will be in attendance in a meet and greet style. It's just not going to be the typical format that I think people remember of autograph tables, but more again about shaking hands and taking photos and having an opportunity to get an autograph signed. Is just not only going to be about that.
And Sheena, as a fan of course, the 2005 team, it's coming up to the 20th year of that team. Will there be some type of recognition, some of those players in attendance at SoxFest Live?
Yeah, we're planning to kick off the whole 2025 season with our entire 125th anniversary celebration. That's really kind of the informal start for us for the start of the 2025 season. So certainly big milestones like the 2005 World Series Championship is going to be something that we are planning to celebrate at SoxFest Live with some special guest appearances. But there'll be more details about that to come closer to the event.
And as you talked about Chris Getz, and I think also it was mentioned that Will Venable will be speaking at SoxFest Live, do you think that they'd be speaking on both days, or can people expect unique experiences on both the Friday and the Saturday?
So there's going to be, we're still mapping out the details of the programming, which again will be announced closer to the event dates. But there's going to be opportunities to hear from both of them. So I think that everybody's going to have a chance to ask their questions and also hear directly from Chris and Will and all of the members from the baseball leadership. It's not going to be the same show twice, though.
The Ramova Theater, they just remodeled it down there in Bridgeport. I mean, it's a cool looking spot. Haven't been there myself for a concert yet, but what is the capacity like? Obviously, I mentioned some of the huge spaces that SoxFest past have been held in. What kind of how do you kind of compare the amount of fans that are going to be able to fill in for this event versus the SoxFests of the past?
It's definitely going to be a more intimate setting. The capacity is going to be smaller than what it was previous events venues that you mentioned, but Remova is going to be able to fit. They hold a lot of events. They sell out a lot of shows there. So I think we're going to be comfortable with the number of people that will be over there. It'll be probably around like 1,500. So each of the days, it's a nice spot, but it's still going to feel like that more comfortable setting for getting to meet people and getting to meet some of the leadership.
And speaking of the theater, was it the goal from the beginning to move this to somewhere that was really close to the ballpark so that you're in the neighborhood? Was that something you guys set out to do from the beginning, or did it just kind of work out that way?
I think when we talked about different venues, we explored a lot of different venues, right? We took a look at what we wanted the experience to be from the attendee side. When we went to Remova, it truly felt like the right fit for us. I mean, when you walk through the lobby there, and the fact that like the group that has invested so much into this piece of Bridgeport, that have shown so much like love and care to restore it to its beauty, it felt like a really cool way to bring back SoxFest in a way that, again, like felt like home a little bit, and also like gave us the opportunity to kind of like celebrate the neighborhood. So, when we talked about a lot of different concepts, but Remova felt like the best fit for us. And I think people are going to feel that when they walk through.
And so this is going to happen in late January. When will tickets go on sale for this event? And how, what are the levels of the tickets that people can be purchasing when they do go on sale?
Sure. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. So Tuesday, November 26th, there's a special pre-sale for season ticket holders tomorrow at 9, but the general public can get their tickets at noon. And they can go either to the Remova website at removachicago.com or at whitesox.com/SoxFest Live. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be different than all of the fan events that I think people have been to in the past. Live music, a lot of exciting entertainment, a chance to meet players, former players, leadership. Again, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think the only other question that I had for you, Sheena, do you feel like SoxFest had to look different than the typical convention because it's been such a long time? Like, do you think that SoxFest would be back in 2025 if it looked like a typical convention? Or is it, now that you've made this change and brought it to this new format, that's what the White Sox were looking for, a new updated version of SoxFest, because maybe the convention part was a little played out or done enough at that point?
I think there's pros in all of the event concepts. I think when we were thinking about the history of SoxFest and the years on which we couldn't hold it, it felt important to us to reintroduce the concept of SoxFest in a new way, in a way that kind of reflects how events are happening, experiential, more up close, more exclusive, something that felt like we were giving people a chance to get up close to our White Sox organization, and not something that felt in such a large setting, more just distant, right? We wanted to bring something that was more up close and personal.
Absolutely. I think that's going to do it for questions. As Sheena said, do you have one more?
Just one more. Just what events would you have for the youngsters, the chillins of Sox fans? Like, because I'm sure
question.
People out there with the kids and we would like old SoxFest, but we want to know if our kids can come out and what events you have planned.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question. We have the SoxFest Kids Camp that's also happening. SoxFest of the past were really great about incorporating the whole family, but this year we wanted to do something specifically for kids. On Saturday afternoon, we're doing over at the ComEd Rec Center a kids camp. And so they'll be able to go through drills and rotations with some of our White Sox elite staffing coaches, but also some player appearances. So there'll be an opportunity to grab autographs and photos with major leaguers as well. So it's going to be so much fun. I know my 6-year-old will be really excited to try and get his hands on some drills and some autographs as well.
Should be a fun time. Again, as Sheena mentioned, tickets go on sale tomorrow at noon. So head over to the link in the description, MLB.com/White Sox/fans/SoxFest. Sheena, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate all the info on SoxFest Live.
Thank you, guys.
We all silly like the mayor.